just the mentality. They couldn't get around the fact that I became a personality on that station. They wanted everybody like status quo. And I'm like, you guys, I'm inviting you. I'm going to tell people this is your Twitter. I was so, Jason, I left there. Not only did we get pushed out, they offered me 3 days a week. But I should have taken it, Jason. But anyway, I digress. So not only that, but they made me feel like I was an idiot.
You and Steve and Dorothy were together for a long time. You had a good
Almost
run.
20 years.
And then Dorothy left.
I knew change was a-coming.
Go ahead. Tell me how the change happened. How it went. I want to hear your story.
Okay. So for my weather wall, I always had a Howard Stern thing up there and a Dave Chappelle because they're two outliers that are just brilliant. And they always let me have it. I was like, whatever. And it was not on TV. It was off to the side and I had a little area. And one day I came in, first of all, they pushed Dorothy out. They just said to her, you have to go to HR. And she's like, HR? That's how she was told. With me, a little bit of a different story. I came to work one day and the poster thing was down and my little area was cleaned up. And I was like, Danny, he was our stage manager. I go, dangers are a-coming. And Lauren Sanchez was filling in for Dorothy. And Lauren and I had been friends for many years. I knew her from Fox Sports. I knew her from different places. And, it was an adjusting time because it was Lauren and then they'd have another girl. Well, what I didn't know was that they were auditioning Lauren for my position too. And what they were doing was, it was rotating girls. You had to be, and I'm a girl's girl, so I was friendly to everybody, but I was like, what is happening here? Then they said to me, this is before Steve got the whole boot. They said to me, I finished there. They started breaking down the weeks, like, oh, we'll have you on 3 days a week. And I was like, what do you mean 3 days a week? Well, you'll be in the field, right? So now I'm a field reporter, but it's Jillian's pick. Like you could do anything you want in Los Angeles. And they actually offered me good money. And I said, no, couldn't take it. I was like, absolutely not. Then who am I throwing back to in the studio where I sat for almost 20 years? Who's that going to be? Well, we can't tell you. So I went, okay. And I got off the phone and I went on Twitter and I was like, hey, good day, LA. And it was a shitstorm. My publicist called me. He's like, oh my God, and I said, yes, I own my Twitter. I'm announcing it on Twitter because they effed me. They already put out a news press release. And on it, it said, the new Good Day LA. They wouldn't tell me the names, but apparently it was so-and-so, I don't remember. And then with Steve Edwards. And Jillian Barberie will be doing Jillian's World in the Field or something. So they had already put it out that I had signed on. That's how secure they were. Because they knew at home I had a baby. I had 2 babies. And my ex didn't work. It was me. The family relied on me. So I had a lot of pressure and they knew it. They went in for the kill. But I didn't. I was like, bye. And yeah.
How'd you feel the next day?
Sad. But also I stood my ground. I was like, no. And Steve said to me, I called Steve and I said, Steve, I don't know. Like I've already said I quit. And I said, now I'm vacillating. And he's like, no, let me give you a scenario. He's like, you're out at a hotel doing an opening and people are like, Jillian. Then you throw it back to an unknown girl sitting in your seat. How is that going to make you feel? I sort of changed that genre and then I was tossed out of the party. So for me, I look back and think, everyone said, oh, if you would have stayed, you'd probably be anchoring this by now. And I said, yeah, but I'm not a news anchor. I'm not. I could never do that.